So now let's have an overview of the free energy principle mathematical concepts. Several equations can implement this idea, but these are the essential ones. There is one term that describes the imagined or planned stimulus structure possibilities. The stimulus structure possibilities based on the memory, which should be updated once receiving the sensory evidence. A second term describes the received evidence at the sensory barrier. In one framework, the second term is subtracted from the first one for all possibilities of the external events, and then averaged to obtain one single value that represents the expectations. Based on this expectation or free energy value, adjustments of the internal beliefs is repeated until the free energy is completely reduced, so that the beliefs match the sensory input. The adjustment is done with an optimization algorithm called the gradient descent. And this is the equation, where the first term and the second term. You will notice an ln. This simplifies the multiplication or division between two distributions so that it becomes addition or subtraction. As mentioned, there are other ways of modeling the free energy principle mathematically. One is with the Bayes probability theorem. The other is by considering each system, such as the humans, as a quantum reference frame. So it's different ways of quantifying the reduction of free energy. Now let's go back to the metro map. If we decide that each internal belief represents one characteristic in the outside world, represented by one staff member at a station, the number of lines between two stations describe the correlation between these characteristics, and thus, when grouped, may represent one type of object. For instance, the distribution of all the designs of footballs I played with while growing up. Alternatively, each station may have several characteristics, thus representing by itself one object, like the footballs, and where two stations that are connected with more lines would indicate that we believe these two objects are likely to interact. For instance, footballs and shoes. Now you can calculate the interaction between one or two humans in an environment, for instance, an acoustic environment, with the idea that information gain or curiosity aims to reduce the difference between expected and actual heard sound frequencies. Now all that is left to do is to mathematically define a few more things. Firstly, an acoustic environment. Secondly, a space where acoustics can be located at different time points. Thirdly, demarcate which points in space are the barrier or Markov blanket of the human's ear. And finally, assign an auditory developmental history to the internal of the human. You must define all of these in order to obtain the probability distribution that will allow us to calculate the free energy, which can be considered the arousal level or surprise, which is the discrepancy between expected and real sensory information. Now I have to go because it's raining. In the next videos I will be exploring neuroscience and spirituality that help us understand music cognition as part of my PhD journey. Thank you, see you soon.